Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to discuss about how to get away or get rid from the thoughts of sex. Every hour we think about sex. From newspaper, magazines, television to movies, all are full of sex appeals. Teenage to old age, sex is the most talked topic. Why is that? Our entire life we are never satisfied with sex. Dissatisfaction is generated in mind. The source of dissatisfaction is the desire. Thus, the problem is not sex, but craving for sex. When a child is born and start going to school, from the parents, teachers, a distinction is made that you are a boy and she is a girl. Also from the society and environment, it is put into the head of individual child about the sex to whom he or she belongs, boy or girl. The percepts about a boy and girl already established by humans are also fed to the mind of each boy or girl child. Boys are rowdy, girls are sensitive, boys are restless, girls are calm, etc. etc. As we grow, physical changes start happening in boys and girls. With the dawn of teenage, appearances of bodies start changing. Now the outer influence the inner, and the inner wants to explore in order to something going on in mind and to settle the external curiosities. Boy wants to feel girl and vice versa. Boys start talking to girls and girls with boys, and the core of this is to impress each other. While talking, they start touching each other. This touch leads to kissing, and kissing to physical relationship, and physical relationship leads to pleasure. This pleasure is stored in memory in form of a experience. Mind is always after pleasure, avoiding pain. Whenever someone gives us some work, we get irritated. Why? Because work interrupts our want, gives us pain, and what we want is pleasure. Once the pleasure of sex is stored in memory, the mind wants more pleasure in order to add to the existing experience. In order to enable this, you again perform sex, anticipating more pleasure experience to take place. Once this happens, the enhanced experience is also stored in the memory in addition to already stored experience. This sets the trend moving. Now you are in the grip of sex pleasure. A stage comes when the pleasure reaches threshold from a particular partner and you no more feel pleasure from him or her. Now in order to have more pleasure, you plan to change the partner. Till the last day of your life, you keep thinking about this. Old age comes, body becomes weak, but still in the mind, the desire for sex remains. Is there any way by which we can get out of this? There are two options. Either you indulge in sex so much that you become fed up, or you understand the making of sex desire in mind. For the first option, you need beautiful 1000 girls, which are practically impossible. Thus, the only way is to understand the making of sex desire. All animals, apart from humans, also indulge in sex. It means sex is a natural process. When sex happens, there is immense pleasure generated. It is all natural. Physically, this is the highest pleasure in all living beings. Cuckoo birds sing and peacock dance to attract the opposite sex. Cricket, frogs, and many other insects sing to do the same. Now the question arises, why in sex there is the highest pleasure? Answer could be, if nature had not provided this pleasure in sex, then no male or female connection will happen. And if there is no intercourse between male and female, there would be no children taking birth, and all living beings will ultimately vanish. Thus, in order to continue, Mother Nature gifted sex to living beings for the purpose of reproduction. Had Mother Nature not done this, no boy or girl will come near to each other. Sex for having children is approved by all the philosophers, but when sex goes in the head, then it is a problem. The pull of sexual desire is exceptionally strong. We get easily carried away by it. Is there a way by which we can save ourselves from the pull of sex? Religions advocate celibacy, but practically it is very difficult to put it into practice. Our body keeps making fluids, that is semen, and even if a person does not indulge in sex, it flows out automatically while sleeping in form of wet dreams. In young age, it is a big problem. As we grow old, body becomes weak and sex drive also reduces. Many articles in newspaper, magazines are published which claim that sex is good for health, and they promote on having sex daily. These articles create titillations in the mind of youngsters and divert their attention towards sex. Sex being a taboo in many cultures, they do not discuss this with their parents or elders. And by the time they have correct understanding of it, usually it is too late. Police records confirm the sharp rise in the numbers of rape cases reported throughout the world, especially in developing or undeveloped countries. Sex drive in mind can be considerably reduced by number 1, living in good company, number 2, by praying, number 3, listening to spiritual discourses, number 4, avoiding liquor, drugs, etc., number 5, having balanced diet, and number 6, by wisdom.